This is sand. You live in a desert. Move to where the food is. Welcome back. It's the Ray Lucia Show. Glad to have you on board. Steve Aledort joins me. Steve, can you correct me on any of the cap rate information that I was giving out, or the rents, buying a rental property, before we get into some really serious topics?
Well, you know, as far as in the mortgage business, cap rates, as far as in doing a loan, are more focused on investment properties more than 4 units. So the bottom line is, on an investment property, if you're looking to purchase an investment property, what's your payment? What are you going to be able to collect in rents? What can you depreciate on the property? And if you can at least get a break even or make a little bit of money, you're doing well, because now you own a piece of real estate that will appreciate in value. So
good point. Now, so there's not a debt coverage ratio requirement on, say, a single family home?
Not a single family 1 to 4 unit as far as the standard type loans. But there will be, and I don't do them, but once you get into doing commercial loans, which are for 5 units or more, they're going to more focus on the return and the capital investment and capital return.
All right, Steve Aledort, our loan financial planner at loanfinancialplanner.com, has some very interesting news. Steve, I was reading the other day that one of the next shoes to fall, student loans, $1.3 trillion.
That's amazing.
In student debt. Now, you're telling me that the government is coming up with a program.
Yeah, this is really kind of neat. You know, I mean, for so many years, every time we turn, we see, okay, this is a little more difficult. We've got more restrictions. We've got more documentation we need to collect. But Fannie Mae, between Fannie and Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae is introducing a brand new program to help out those people that have student loans. So let's assume that you own a home. So this is basically for a refinance. And you've got an existing mortgage, and you have, let's say, $30,000 in student loan debt. In the past, if you called me up and said, hey, I want to get rid of my student loan debt, we could potentially do it as a cash out refinance. Now, doing it as a cash out refinance, you fit into different categories as far as the max loan to value we can go, but more importantly, a cash out refinance will cost more money or a higher interest rate than what we would call a rate and term refinance in the business. So what Fannie Mae has done is they're coming up with a special program that if you're looking to retire student loan debt, you've got an existing mortgage, as long as we're not paying anything else off, they will now do it as a special rate and term refinance. So what does it mean? First off, what's the difference between rate and term and cash out? Rate and term on a refinance, you're paying off your existing first, or if you have an existing line of credit that was purchase money or a second trustee loan, you can merge them together and call it rate and term. You can add your loan fees, your prepaids, which would be interest that you're going to owe for 30 days, setting up an escrow account if you have one, or paying taxes and insurance.
But if you borrowed money on a second trustee to buy a car, you couldn't refinance that car loan under rate and term. That would have to be a cash out?
Correct. So if, let's say you have an existing first and you have a line of credit or second trustee that you initiated or generated after the purchase, if we're merging them together, that would be considered cash out.
Got it.
So good point. And then cash out also, if you're looking to pay off any credit card debt, any car loans, or just looking to pull cash out to do investments in the future, fix up the house, so on and so forth. Now, here's kind of an example of rate and term versus cash out, and this is with a credit score of 740. So if your credit score is lower than this, and or if you have a condo above 75%, the numbers get worse. So there's so many factors involved in pricing. But with cash out versus rate and term, if you have a loan to value of 60% or less, you're going to pay an additional 0.375 in fee, which comes out to, in most cases, about 1/8 of a point in interest rate. If you're between 60.01 and 75%, you're going to pay an additional 0.875 in fee, which is generally around 1/4 point more in interest rate. And if you're up to 80% doing a cash out loan, there's an additional 1.375 fee added to the base rate, which in most cases will be anywhere between 3/8 and a half a point more in interest rate. So the difference between doing rate and term and cash out at 80% could be the difference between, let's say 4.1 is rate and term, we're looking at maybe 4.5 to 4.6 on cash out.
What about cash out of pocket?
Cash out of pocket meaning?
Do you need fees? You have to pay costs.
Yeah. As far as loan costs.
Those are all the same?
And as far as, again, the prepaids I was talking about, because on a refinance, you're going to owe 1 month interest at the time of closing. If you have an escrow account, we have to set up a new escrow account. You can put all of that into the loan and it not be considered cash out. On top of that, with Fannie Mae, we can give you up to $2,000 in your pocket after paying for all of those fees without it being considered cash out. And Freddie Mac, if you've got a larger loan amount, will allow you to do 5. But here's the big difference. Let's say if you've got the student loans, you've got a home value at $425, you owe $300,000 on your home loan, and you've got $30,000 in student loan debt. Let's assume loan cost and prepaids are $5,000, so you're doing a $335,000 loan, $425 value, so you're a little bit above 75%. In the past, putting the student loans together, it would be considered cash out. Let's say you'd have a rate at 4.5%, and you'd have a principal and interest payment of $1,697. Today, let's say you've got the $300,000, you've got $30,000 in student loans that you want to pay off. We can now do that as a special rate and term refinance at a 4.125 rate with a payment of $1,623. So it's a $75 payment savings per month based on the new guidelines with Fannie Mae, allowing us to pay off student loan debt and calling it a special rate and term refinance.
So what I would do is I'd say, kid, you got to move out of the house, and I'll give you an allowance of $75 a month to move out, right?
Yes.
That's what you do. Steve Aledort, loan financial planner. I am concerned about this. I'm concerned about two things from an economic standpoint. $1.3 trillion in student debt and over $1 trillion, I think the number is pretty close to the same number, in automobile loans. Can you help refi people out of bad automobile loans too?
Yeah, and whether they're bad automobile loans or the payment, it makes it so that's tough for an individual to have additional cash to do stuff during the month, or even if they have credit card debt. So let's assume that you've got a combination of student loans, car payments, and credit cards, or car payments and credit cards. And we know that if we take cash out to pay those off, you're going to pay a little bit higher interest rate. But the key is to have somebody like myself, somebody who knows how to crunch numbers. Look at what you're paying on your existing first. Look at those debts that you're paying higher interest rates on. And if we combine them together, we can calculate a return or a savings on your money. A lot of times as well is that if we're combining car loans and credit card debt, we may be saving you $700, $800, $900, $1,000 a month in monthly payments. One of the reasons being is on a car loan, it's amortized over a 5-year period of time. So, number one, it will help out those people that if you need that reduction in your mortgage payment, it could be substantial. If you're okay making those payments, but you want to be able to pay that debt off quicker, then a lot of times what I'll have my clients do is we refinance. Let's say we're saving $800 a month. We either pay that $800 additional on the mortgage to eliminate that credit debt, or pay half of it, depending on your situation. So we can crunch those numbers to see where you're most comfortable, but I'll almost guarantee you that within a 5-year period of time, I will show you how to put yourself ahead by combining that debt into your mortgage loan than leaving them outside the mortgage loan and paying them as is.
He's brilliant. Steve Aledort, loanfinancialplanner.com, loanfinancialplanner.com, 888-563-1070. You know, when I was younger, I did exactly that. And I didn't pay the mortgage back. I just put the money into my retirement account, got a tax deduction, so my tax savings went right into my pocket, and the house continued to appreciate. So it worked out beautifully, and we had plus loans and stuff like that I had borrowed to put my kids through college, because I saved for years to pay for their college, but 4 in college at the same time killed me.
Well, you were disciplined. And for somebody that's disciplined, whether you use that money to pay down the mortgage or invest it so down the line, when you're ready to pay it off, you potentially earn more on that money than paying the mortgage down. You can do that as well. So we have a number of options as managing your money.
You heard it right here. I was disciplined. Steve Aledort, loanfinancialplanner.com, 888-563-1070. Yes, when it came to money, Steve, I was disciplined. When it comes to lunch, not so much.
Actually, you're looking good now.
Steve Areno, Aledort, loanfinancialplanner.com. Thank you, buddy. We'll talk next time. We'll be back, folks. This is The Ray Lucia Show. Getting kind of hungry, too. Are you?
Are you ready, Boots? Start walking.